If you're looking for one of the best new build communities in Menifee, this video is for you. What's up, guys? Welcome to Somewhere in SoCal. My name is Mike Debelak, and on this channel, I show you guys what it's like to live somewhere in SoCal. In today's video, I am back in the community of Cimarron Ridge in the city of Menifee. All right, this is one of the top master plan communities, not only in Menifee, which is one of the top growing cities in the whole country, all right, but one of the best neighborhoods in all of the Inland Empire. All right, so right now in this video, I am going to tour Pathway and Greenway. These are two of the communities they've got here. All right, there's actually more though. They've got two 55+ communities with Del Webb that's coming. They got a community called Meadows that I filmed a couple weeks ago. It's kind of a gated community, and they're building a brand new community here next year. So this is just a really good spot in Menifee. So I'm touring the Greenway and Pathway today. We're going to walk through 4 models. All right, like I said, I've done them before. If you've been around for a long time, you've seen them before. All right, but I'm giving you updated pricing, updated incentives, a fresh perspective from me, other stories to share, and that sort of stuff. So a couple things before we get started, just some housekeeping type stuff. All right, I want to remind you guys of, all right, everyone always asks about the HOA. HOA in this community is going to be $91 a month at build out. The tax rate is going to be 2%, which is kind of just in line. That's the average tax rate. It's not uncommon to be 2%. That includes the normal property taxes, special assessments, mello-roos, all that kind of stuff. Alrighty, a couple things before we dive into some of these houses. All right, number one, all right, this is a show I post every single Saturday at 8 a.m., including weeks there's holidays. All right, I'm kind of changing up my whole schedule. I normally film on Tuesdays, but next Tuesday, all right, is going to be Christmas Eve. All right, by the time you guys see this video, Christmas will have already happened. So I like to be consistent and show up for you guys. So I think I'm on like 50 something weeks in a row where I've had an episode, we had an episode of this posted on YouTube on Saturdays. So I'm keeping the streak. So today's Friday, I'm filming. Next Friday, I'm filming because I don't want to film on New Year's Eve because I don't know if these builders are open or not. The other thing, if you like anything you see today, make sure you go ahead and reach out. My phone number is going to be on the screen, whether they're coming out today, tomorrow, next week, next month, whenever. I would love to be your local guide to the area and help you find your somewhere in SoCal. Whether this, is your somewhere or not, I've toured dozens of these communities. I've helped lots of you, all right? Throughout 2024, I've helped 100+ of you who have reached out on the channel, try to find your somewhere in SoCal. So I would love to help you too. One of the really cool things is because I've toured so many of these areas, I'm able to talk to you and figure out exactly what would be a good fit for you. So instead of you guys coming out and bouncing from neighborhood to neighborhood and all this and that, have a conversation with me. I get to know what you guys like to do, what you need, what you like, what you don't like, all that kind of stuff. And I can kind of pinpoint some areas for you. All right. I was just out yesterday with someone who had been out before. Took him to a community that he hadn't seen before, and boom, like fell in love with the place. We're in escrow, beautiful thing. So I can do the same for you. The other cool thing about working with me, alrighty, we're able to get good incentives, good pricing, because I've got good relationships with these builders, with the builders agents, and I've been down the road before. It's never my first rodeo. All right, I've been negotiating with new builders for the past years, exclusively, basically. All right, I still do resale homes too. All right, but my meat and potatoes with this channel, a lot of people call wanting the new builds. So I'm constantly negotiating new builds, knowing the different builders, their wiggle room and stuff like that. So if you work with the right person, this guy hopefully, all right, you can get or more incentives, better flex on price, and that sort of stuff. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this tour started. Alrighty, guys. So first up, we've got the Pathmaker. This one right here is gonna be 2,397 square feet. We're gonna have 5 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, and this one starts at $593,000. All right, this is also one that is available at some of the other communities through Pulte and other spots at different price points. So the first time I started filming this one, it was kind of in the mid-5s, I believe, if I remember correctly. So right now they've got 3 available, basically starting as low as $610. Now there's always some flex on these prices if you work with the right person. Anyway, so as we walk up here, you see a nice little porch patio type area. Looking out there. Let's go on in and see this thing. All right, so right as we walk in, we got this little flex room off to the right. They got this set up as kind of like a den, loungy type area. It could be an office, something like that, but kind of like the accent wall of the shell is pretty cool little feel to this. Just want to show you guys just the entryway mirror too. I think showing you guys some of the design features for inspiration is kind of cool. All right, as we walk further back, we'll turn to the right, and we've got our powder room or our half bathroom here. All right, at the front of the house. So when you're entertaining, you got your spot for people to come and use the facilities. Then right here, we got a coat closet. Let's go further back here, all right, one thing that Pulte does at some of their houses, they got these like little workstation type things. So some people kind of don't like this area. I am a fan of this. Now, if you don't like it, but you like the rest of the house, like maybe you just knock this wall down eventually. But anyways, this is a good spot for, you know, if people are doing, you know, homework or homeschooling kids, or I've been calling it like the Etsy station for the for those moms or people who are running those Etsy shops or online business type things where they're making shirts and crafts and stuff like that. I think this is a good spot for that. And I also kind of like those clocks. That's a cool little touch. Anyway, so here's kind of just the pan of the great room for you guys. All right, so we've got our living room area here. And then one thing I want to point out with this is just kind of the way they got it here with the flooring. So you do have the option to make all of this that wood like flooring. All right, but when it's like not the full flooring, this kind of comes with this portion that kind of carpets in the living room for you. So personally, not a fan of that. I would pay to get the whole thing done, but not everyone's got that, you know, in the budget to do that. So this is kind of what it looks like if you don't have the budget for flooring, right? But you wanted like a little bit of an upgrade. You see the carpet in that little homeschooling area too. All right, but we got our area, our dining area set up right here. And then we've got our kitchen. All right, so you got an island here, you know, comfortably sits two, maybe could squeeze a third there. All right, one thing I do like about this island is that the sink's not in it. The sink's off to the side over here looking out to the backyard. All right, so you can still kind of have that entertaining island and hang out around here without the sink and dirty dishes eating up too much space. And you still got like a direct line of sight to that TV and everyone that's kind of sitting in and all that stuff in the living room or the dining room, or even the island right here. So I'll show you guys the rest of this, kind of spin it around for you. Your appliances there. Oh, look, my glasses right there. So just give you a little feel for that. All right, so this is gonna be our garage access right there. But off to the right here, we got a step-in pantry. So lots of space in there. It's crazy. I've been seeing some houses that are much bigger than this one with smaller pantries. I kind of think, you know, you have a bigger house, you need more food to feed the people that are in it. Anywho, all right, then right here we've got some storage under the stairs, a little mini movie theater. For those of you that have been following along for a while, I'll show you guys the backyard. All right, so this one's kind of at the edge of the community, so you got the iron rod fence looking out, right? But these do come as blank canvases, so you guys can kind of do whatever you want with them. Just give you guys some inspiration there. All right, let's go on and head upstairs. Alrighty. All right, so the one thing, whoops, oh my gosh. All right, so as I get to the top of the stairs, the one thing I want to point out, people who don't like this floor plan, it's because there is no loft. All right, so there's no loft here, but you do have the 5 bedrooms, so that's just something to think about. Anyways, we are at the top of the stairs here. All right, turn to the right here. We've got our laundry room, so you're gonna have that shelf or that rack up top. And then they put this cool little thing here. I was at a house yesterday that didn't have too many like linen closet type things. So this is kind of the stuff you can do to like get some towels and store those sorts of things. Anyways, we'll walk further down here. We're gonna have bedroom number 1. All right, pretty good sized room. As I always say, just look at the sides of the bed. So this is a bigger sized bed than some people put in their models. And then you still have like, you know, that small dresser over there and a desk on this side. All right, window looking out to the front of the house. And then we've got our closet right here. We got bedroom 2. Pretty decent sized room right here. Same deal with the closet and the window looking out to the front. And then I'm going to point out, you'll see here, they got the doors set up. The builders take the doors off these sometimes because sometimes little kids come and look and they smash their finger. I'm sorry to laugh, but they smash their fingers and stuff like that. So they take the doors off. Here is a bedroom 3. They got this one set up as a nursery. This one is a little bit smaller. They tend to set up the smaller rooms as nurseries to kind of do like an optical illusion to make you feel like the room's bigger than it is. Oh, that's a dope lamp. My mom loves drafts. Mom, I know sometimes you watch these things. There's a cool lamp for you. Oh, each side. A little baby toy thing. Anyways, that's bedroom 3. right, next to bedroom 3, we got this closet right here. A little linen closet. All right, we're gonna have our first real bathroom. So bathroom 1, we had that powder room downstairs. So you got the dual sinks, big old mirror, medicine cabinet, toilet, and then you got your shower tub combo here. So how many? 1, 2, 3. This is bedroom 4. All right, so this feels really big. Really good sized secondary bedroom here. Really wide. And they do kind of have some bulky-ish furniture. Window looking out to the backyard, and then yeah, you got your dresser and all that. That's where I put the TV. All right, and then one thing I just want to show you guys, the views here can be incredible, especially when it snows and you can see the snow-capped mountains in the distance. Right, kind of ugly right now with like that specific spot where it's all dirt right in front of us, but in the distance it looks pretty sweet. Anyways, let's go on and see the master. All right, so the master is basically the 5th bedroom right here, and this thing's massive. Holy cow. All right, so you got a ginormous master bedroom. I mean, there's so much space here, like, so big. All right, you got the windows on each side of the headboard. I love that. Yeah, there's a really cool feel to this, nice and big. And we'll go on into the master bathroom. So same thing, you got the his and her sinks, your medicine cabinet, your nice big mirror there. All right, we're gonna have our soaking tub, our stand-up shower. We've got our throne area right here. And then we've got our walk-in closet. All right, so this is bigger than most closets that, you know, people coming from other areas when they move over here. But I will say for a master bedroom, this is kind of on the smaller side of the new build closet. Like I have to like tuck my arms in to do the spin test, but I do like these built-in shelves that maybe, you know, make up for some of the space that could, you know, you might feel is missing. So anyways, this right here was the Pathmaker, 2,397 square feet. We got 5 bedrooms plus that flex room downstairs, 2.5 bathrooms. All right, and this one starts at $593,000. All right, so next up, we've got a lot of people's favorite, like, budget-friendly floor plan. All right, this one right here is going to be the Visionary. It's 2,824 square feet. We've got 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. This one starts at $627,000. All right, and kind of just show you guys this one from the street. So nice curb appeal there. Now this is the sales office right now. This will be the garage. Alrighty, but they've got this available at a lot of different communities. So with Pulte, this is one of their, I guess, best-selling floor plans. At Banner Park, the model there, it's just a huge wow factor. All right, right now they've got 3 of these available in this community, starting as low as $638,000. Let's go on and walk on in. So you walk in, and then so we got a nice little entryway there, but we turn immediately to the left and we got this nice little flex room. All right, so they got like a loungy office type vibe going on right here. Got that window looking out to the side of the house, this window to the front of the house. I like the pops of color with the greenish walls and all the artwork. We'll float further on back and we go into the great room and kind of just got the kitchen right as we enter. Nice big island there. This thing's huge. All right, so you got 4 there. You could probably fit 5, maybe even squeeze 6 in on this island. All right, but lots of cabinet space and counter space. The pantry right here. So another little pop-in pantry. Lots of counter space. Yeah, this island's just massive. All right, once again, just a really good spot for entertaining if you're someone who likes to have people over, you know, game nights, family parties, that sort of stuff. You got this nice big island right here. You got your living room over there, your dining area over here. So everyone's kind of just in this nice open spot where you can kind of just mingle and do all the stuff that families do and people do when they hang out together. All right, and then right here, when you build it custom, I know you can extend these cabinets further out, but this is a nice use of what they got here with just the kind of the standard size of the cabinets where they end right there. So you got this little, I don't know, what do you call that thing? Dresser, cabinet, whatever. Some nice artwork and stuff. All right, but this is kind of the designated dining area right here. All right, and then we've got our living room. So there's a really nice feel how this kind of all blends and flows so nicely. All All right, before we go back in that corner, I do want to show you guys the backyard on this one. All right, once again, these are blank canvases, but just kind of want to show you what's possible. All right, let's go back in that corner and see what we got. All right, so back this way, we've got bedroom number 1. All right, so we're kind of tucked away back in the corner here. And then you've got your closet there. Just a pretty nice sized bedroom down here. Now let me see. The one thing that I kind of just thought of. Oh no, we got it. Okay, I was worried that there was no bathroom here, and it was only that. Was there a half bathroom over here? I'm just doing this live with you guys. Okay, no, I'm getting my houses mixed up. That's what happens when you look at houses all day. You go in one and you mix it up with the other. So anyway, so here's bathroom number 1. All right, so your normal bathroom, shower tub combo, toilet, mirror, all that stuff. We got our garage access there, which is currently the sales office. And then we've got some storage under the stairs right here. Now, one thing I'm gonna point out that this particular house has, right, the visionary, we got this bedroom kind of the back of the house. I know there's a lot of people who are concerned about having that bedroom that's typically at the front of the house where that loungy flex room is here. They don't want their kids by the front door and that kind of thing. So this could be a floor plan that works, you know, despite having a downstairs bedroom that you need to use. It's kind of toward the back of the house, which you guys might be more comfortable with. I know my wife would be. You know, we're kind of in that same boat right now with my daughter possibly moving downstairs. So anyways, let's go upstairs. See what we got here. All right, now this one does have a loft. All right, and it's a very nice loft, really good size. So you got this awesome loft at the top of the stairs. And once again, they have that green color kind of tied in upstairs as well. Those windows looking out. It's a really big space. You got a little desk up here to do homework or workstation or whatever, be creative. All right, here we got our laundry room. We got cabinets up top. Normally it's just a rack, but the cabinets built here. You got space for your washer dryer. You even got room for a couple of mountains of clothes or a hamper or whatever. However you do your laundry, I won't judge. All right, we got bedroom 2. Pretty good size here. Now this is an optical illusion. That bed is small and short and those dressers are tiny. This is just like a normal size room. All right, they're trying to play tricks on your eyes, but I'm here for you. I got you. All righty. There's a closet there. Window looking out the front. I like the way they painted this room. Go further on down. We got bedroom number 3 right here. Now this room does feel big, all right? You got the bigger bed, you got the desk, nightstand on the side there. Once again, window looking out to the front. And we got our closet there. Keep creeping back. Now we got, that's a master, we'll save that. Bedroom 4. All right, this is a nursery that's huge though. All right, so they're not playing tricks here. So this is actually a giant room. All right, once again, that little pop of green there. I like to give you guys a little design inspiration. Cheap things to make your house look nicer, feel nicer. So yeah, this is a huge room. I'm gonna turn. We're gonna have bathroom number 2 here. So you got the dual sinks, huge mirror, got the medicine cabinet over there. And then you do have the added privacy of having this door here. So you got someone going to the bathroom or taking a shower or something in the morning, getting ready for school or whatever. And you got someone else out here getting ready for, doing their hair, washing their face, brushing their teeth, that sort of thing. All right, I missed the closets. All right, this closet is for there's no shelves in here. This is the timeout room. All right. Just kidding, don't judge. All right, this is a linen closet right here. All right, but now we head into the master bedroom, which is huge. I've said huge a million times in this house, but this house is super impressive. Whenever I take people out, this is one of those floor plans they just absolutely love. So you've got a huge bed there. Did it again. We should have a huge counter while I'm doing this. All right, but yeah, just really big room. Got to use other words. I was an English teacher after all. Need some synonyms. All right, you got the window there. Big old window looking out to the backyard. There's a really nice feel to this. And I like kind of how it's at the back of the house. Yes, you do have that little, they have the nursery back there. It's not super private, but when people are downstairs, it feels private. All right, so we got our master bathroom. Once again, 2 sinks, big mirror, medicine cabinet. You got your soaking tub, your walk-in shower. We've got our throne area right here. And then we've got a really good sized walk-in closet. It goes around the bend here. All right, but yeah, I could totally do the spin test in here. All right, I'm not gonna spin too many times because I get dizzy these days because I'm getting old fast. Anyways, all right, so this was the Visionary, 2,824 square feet. You got 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, plus that really big loft and that flex room downstairs. So lots of extra space here. All right, and this one starts at $627,000. All right, guys, so next up, I'm gonna do what I always do. I'm gonna hop on the map and show you guys what it's like to actually live here. We'll go over school, shopping, medical care, things to do, all that sort of stuff. All right, so let's dive into the map. All right, so first things first, where the heck are we? So Cimarron Ridge is kind of in North Menifee, all right, kind of just south of Paris. Now, something that is kind of, I don't know if it's cool is the right word, but you're super close to a shopping center in Paris, and there's also a brand new community called Green Valley Ranch that it's kind of a master plan community in Paris that they're building out. People read, hear, see things about Paris online. I can promise you Paris is on the upward trend, alrighty? But we are in Menifee here, and like I said, in one of the best communities, best neighborhoods within Menifee, and like this would be one of my top 3 neighborhoods to move into probably if I was in the market right now. So anyways, let's first talk about shopping. Not shopping. Let's talk about schools. Alrighty, so let's do directions. Switch this up. All right, so for schools, we are zoned to Ridgemore Elementary here. All right, so we're looking at an 8-minute drive to Ridgemore Elementary. As far as middle school, we're at Newport Middle School, which is in Audie Murphy Ranch. It's a brand new, when I say brand new, like fairly new, like only a couple years old. All right, so we're about a 10-minute drive from there. And then for high schools, we're zoned to Paloma Valley High School. My daughter used to do cheerleading for Menifee Wildcats, and the sunsets at this high school are incredible, like behind the football stadium, really cool. She cheers down in Marietta now. It's a little different, I don't know, I guess I'll say more competitive and organized. All right, so anyways, so we're about 15 minutes from the high school if you needed to go there. Another high school option is gonna be Santa Rosa Academy. Actually, it's not even a high school option. It's a charter school for K through 12, basically, from what I understand. All right, so Santa Rosa Academy, once again, about 15 minutes. And then if someone needs to go to a junior college, we got Mount San Jacinto Junior College in Menifee. All right, just on the other side of the shopping center, on the other side of the freeway. Once again, about 15-ish minutes. So all the different levels of school are about 15 minutes or less of a drive. Next up, I just want to discuss that shopping. So I did mention the shopping center that we're close to, or I guess we're near Paris. There's a shopping center that's close by that you guys would be able to go to living here. It's on Case Road. All right, so this shopping center here in Paris is pretty close, less than 10 minutes. It's gonna have, I call it the Home Depot shopping center just because it's easy, but there's a Winco. If you haven't had Winco before, think of like Costco type pricing, but not Costco type bulk. So you can get like cheap stuff, low quantities. So we love Winco, good meats and stuff there as well. So you got Winco for groceries, you got Home Depot. There's some other restaurants and gas station and fast food options in here. The Carl's Jr., I believe a Del Taco. You've got September's. I always say this in all these videos when I do the maps. I need to go to September's. Maybe by the next time I do this, I will have gone. All right, I hear that's a pretty good spot. So you're about 9 minutes away from there. I guess from here, we can also just kind of look at our freeway access. We're 7 minutes. 7 minutes from the 215 freeway entrance there. I'm just doing this for commute times for those of you that need to commute. You're about 10 minutes from the entrance at McCall. Hold on, maybe less. Let me do this. Oh my gosh, let me just redo this. Let me redo the whole thing. There's a McDonald's there. McDonald's on Bradley. There we go. This is right next to the freeway entrance. And let's just drag to the freeway. Boom. 8 minutes to the freeway here. So you're kind of in the middle of both freeways, north, south, depending which way you're going. Would make more sense there for the 215. Let me do the in and out in and out in Lake Elsinore, because that's the closest to the 15 freeway if you need the 15. In and out. Lake Elsinore. I believe this is the one. All right, and we'll assume the freeway is like right there, guys. Just trust me on that. So you're about 20 minutes from the 15 freeway there. The traffic does kind of get backed up as we come there. All right, I'm kind of going out of order here. Let's go back to the shopping center in Menifee. All right, the main shopping center, which I call the Four Corners, got pretty much everything in these four corners here. All right, on Newport and Fawn, or Newport and 215, kind of the four corners there. So you're about 15 minutes away from the major shopping center in Menifee, where you got Target, you see In-N-Out, Buffalo Wild Wings. So dozens of restaurants, fast food options. You got Best Buy, Lowe's, Target, Kohl's. There's the pet shops like Petco and all those kinds of things are there as well. Tons of other stuff going down the street here. You got Olive Garden. There's a cool restaurant I like called Tacos and Tequila in there. I get the octopus tacos. They're fire. Like, they're spicy, but they're also really good. Good drinks there as well. You got Chronic Tacos and a Starbucks over here. So just tons of options. And on this corner here, you got Chick-fil-A, you got Jersey Mike's, you got Flame Broiler. Across the way over here, you got Raising Cane's. There's an all-you-can-eat sushi spot. There's LA Fitness, some other options over here. And then on this side over here, kind of an older shopping center. If you're shopping for furniture, I think there's an Ashley's or something in there. All right, but when I go in there, I go to Savage Chef. That's my favorite restaurant. Pretty much all around this area, even including the places down in Temecula. And then also there's a cool little taco spot called Michi's Tacos, which good Taco Tuesday, birria tacos, that sort of thing. There's also the Taco Bell, I think the Jack in the Box, gas station, Ralph's on this side over here. So dozens of options right here. Next up, let's just look at Costco. All right, there's a Costco in Murrieta. So Costco is going to be further down, but from our location here in Cimarron Ridge, we are looking at about a 20-minute drive to get to the Costco here. Once again, there's more shopping and stuff down here as well. There's Farmer Boys, there's a Blaze Pizza, so lots of different options there. There is a Sam's Club a little bit further down. I'm not going to look at that. That'd be further down the road, though, kind of where the 15 and 215 meet, kind of in this down here. So I don't know, call it 25 minutes. And then I'm going to do Promenade Temecula. That's the main mall. Right, if you wanted that main mall type thing. All right, it's about a 30-minute drive. You'll see there's a little bit of traffic. I'm doing this. It's, you know, right before Christmas. I feel like it's less than 30 minutes normally, but the mall there in Temecula's got food court, tons of restaurants, Dick's Sporting Goods, bowling alley, a cool little like upscale row of stores outside that Apple Store, Lululemon. Some other fancy stores that my wife knows about. So there's some good options there. If you wanted to go to Old Town Temecula, there's some really good restaurants down there. All right, that is crazy to me to think that that's a 30-minute drive as well. So the math isn't mathing because this feels a lot further than there. It's not 1 minute difference. All right, I guess maybe there's lots of street traffic around the mall. All right, the other thing I'll mention is Pechanga. Typing Pechanga Casino. All right, about 35 minutes there, allegedly. Golf courses, casino, restaurants, all that good stuff. And then I'll just do Wine Country. I'll just put Fazeli because that's one I've been to. All right, Fazeli. All right, about 45 minutes from Wine Country. You get windy roads there. Once again, you got a little bit of holiday traffic here. I don't feel it's really 45 minutes. All right, but I'm just giving you the live feel on a Friday at 1 p.m. as I'm doing this map video. Alrighty, what other things do I always mention? Oh, medical care. All right, so you've got Menifee Global Medical Centers, probably the closest hospital to us in Cimarron Ridge. All right, you're about a 12-minute drive here. There is a Kaiser facility in Murrieta, which is pretty close by, about 15 to 20 minutes there. And then there's also Loma Linda, which is right next to that. So I'm gonna say 20 minutes, that's my guess. 19 minutes there, so just south of that. So you got lots of different medical options there. If you're someone who's coming here, like looking for jobs in the medical field, there's tons of options, guys. Like dozens of medical facilities, hospitals, urgent cares, doctor's offices, tons of options there. All right, so so don't be scared. All right, let's see. Next up, let's do the airports like I normally do. All right, one thing I want to mention before I do the airports, there's lots of outdoor living here. You obviously got the lakes. You got Lake Skinner, you got Diamond Valley Lake, you got Lake Elsinore, you got Paris Lake. So lots of outdoor living, hiking trails, golf courses, all kinds of. You like being outdoors, this is a good spot for you. Alrighty. But anyways, back to the airports. All right, Ontario's probably the closest one. As I do these airports, guys, there's two reasons here. Number one, like maybe you're not from the area or you have family that would be coming to visit. I want you to see how far the airports are from here. But also just as general points of reference, so you can kind of see how far it is to get somewhere, because maybe you know like your spot is close to an airport. Anyways, all right, so right now you're about an hour and 7 minutes from Ontario. We absolutely have holiday traffic because I live like further away from Ontario Airport than Cimarron Ridge, and it takes me like 45 minutes to get there. All right, so once again, we're just doing it live though. So hour and 7 minutes on a December Friday. You can see here 49 minutes is the normal time allegedly, or 43 minutes with this route. I'm also going to do Palm Springs. I haven't done Palm Springs Airport on my videos, except for last week when I did the one in San Jacinto, but Palm Springs Airport's also a good one, measuring stick, because maybe you want to go to the desert and play some golf or go vacation, or maybe you have a vacation home in Palm Springs. I don't know. Whatever the reason, Palm Springs Airport's about an hour and a half away. All right. I like to say it's about an hour 15 to Palm Springs, Palm Desert area. All right. Next up, we'll do San Diego Airport. All right. This one's a good reference for a lot of those military families that are moving up this way. I've got a handful of military families I'm working with right now. Love working with the military. All right. So San Diego Airport, about an hour and 25. Normally it's about an hour 10, hour 15. You can see that there. John Wayne, that's in Irvine. So the Orange County Airport, hour and 20. Once again, you see it's about an hour away. Normally, we got LAX. That's gotta be over 2 hours today. Oh, it's not. Surprising. All right, so normally it's about an hour 45. All right, but it's saying an hour 56 today, so about 2 hours to get to LAX. So hopefully those are some good points of reference for you. All right, a couple other things I've been doing recently is some of the theme parks. So we'll go to Disneyland. How far away is Disneyland from us? Normally it's about an hour 15. All right, what I like to say for my house. So this is, yeah, about an hour from Cimarron Ridge, hour and 23 in today's traffic lift. You see a crash here and some traffic here. Once again, holidays. And then we've got, the other thing I like to touch on is the beaches. So we've got Oceanside here. That's the beach in North County, San Diego. About an hour and 7 minutes from the beach there. And I'm just gonna drag to the Orange County beaches and kind of see hour and 20-ish minutes to the beaches in Orange County. So you kind of, pick your spot, whether you want to go to the beaches in Orange County or down in Oceanside. All right. All right. Before we dive back into the last two houses here, I just want to show you guys real quick. So we just finished showing you guys Pathway here. All right, and I'm just going to show you guys these communities are kind of on their way out. So I mentioned on the intro, we've got Pathway, Greenway, then there's Meadows up the road here, and then there's the 55 plus community. So what I want to show you real quick is kind of just what's available and what's gone. So the video or the houses you guys just saw of these two blue dots, those models. All right, this is the parking lot that's next to one of those. That's not built yet, unreleased. The house next to that is available. So on this side of the community, that's the only one that's available. And then they got these 4 gray dots that are going to be released. And then the model homes. All right, and the model, these are all path makers and visionaries. Do I see a gateway? I do not think I see a gateway on this side of it. All right, but then you go up the hill a little bit. They still got some more of these up here. So the first half of this video, all right, the stuff you've already seen at this point, the visionary, the path maker, and they also have the gateway, which is a single story. The gateway, let me just show you guys real quick, because I'm not walking it in this video. The gateway, single story, 4 beds, 2 baths. I sold one of these in Coachella before. All right, starts at $558 basically, just under 2,000 square feet. Let me see if they got quick move-in for the gateway. They do not have a quick move-in for the gateway. So anyways, so just under 2,000 square feet. We got some options there. Anyways, so you see there's options up here. And then more coming down the way. So I would anticipate by summer 2025, this pathway will be sold out. All right, next we'll go to Greenway, which is what you're about to see. The last 2 houses I'm going to show you. All right. Let me, oopsies. Show you guys here. There's not a whole lot left with Greenway. All right. There's less options that they're giving you. And as I zoom here, you'll see, pull that up. All right, you'll see there's these 6 on the corner down here. So there's 6 houses left here, 7, 8 if you count the models. There's only 8 left in Greenway. So the next 2 houses we're going to see, there's only 8 options left, and 2 of them are the models. So really 6 other, floor plans there that are available. All right, and then you'll see right here, but this is Meadows. I filmed this a couple weeks ago. This is going to be the gated community. If you have a higher price point, you're able to go like 800,000 to $1 million. All right, million plus even. This is the spot for you, gated community. Really, really nice homes. I have another video on that that you guys can check out. All right, but anyway, so there's that. And then what I also want to show you guys is this is the park I mentioned that's coming. All right, so there's a park coming in the neighborhoods on Goats and Valley Boulevard. They're building this on the corner. This is supposed to be open, I think, by the end of 2025. I think they're grading the land right now. So you got 2 baseball fields, you got a soccer field. I would imagine they're gonna put a basketball court. I don't see it there, but maybe, I don't know. But anyways, you're gonna have a park in this community that's walking distance. So you know, got kids or dogs or whatever. Nice little spot there. And then across the way, that's not pictured in this thing, is the 55 plus Del Webb community. I filmed one half of it. I got to do the other half, but it's gonna be a super cool 55 plus community with a clubhouse, pool, spa, pickleball courts, all that sort of stuff. It's, you know, good for someone who wants to retire but doesn't necessarily want to go all the way to the desert or go out to Vegas or Palm Springs. So maybe they got grandkids, in Southern California still. So anyways, let's get back and see these last 2 houses. All right, guys. So now we moved up the hill and we are at, what's this called? Greenway? Pathway? We were at Pathway. Now we're at Greenway. Sorry for the brain fart there. Anyways, all right, so we just went straight up the street to Greenway, still part of Cimarron Ridge. All right, right now we are going to go into the Ferndale. This one right here is 3,125 square feet. You got 3 or 4 bedrooms, 2.5 to 3.5 bathrooms. All right, and this one starts at $645,000. All right, this is just another one. So as we move up the hill here, this is kind of like their next series. So Pulte usually had a series at all their houses or all their communities where they name different things. So we got Pathway down there, we got Greenway here, we got Meadows, which is the gated community up the road, and then across the way there they got the 55 plus Del Webb community where they have 2 series there, and they're building another one. So this is just a really happening spot in Menifee. Lots of growth right here, and like I said earlier, they're building a park, a sports park in the area as well. So like I said, this is the Ferndale. They got 3 of these available, all at $720,000, right? And they've got the 4th bedroom suite, so they do have that extra bedroom. Anyways, let's go in and see this one. Alrighty. Oops. All right, so let me get my stuff together. There we go. I was feeling weird holding my glasses. Anyway, so nice long entryway here. Love the mirrors along the side as we go. But first, we got this nice flex room, den, office suite type thing. I like the way this is set up. What are they saying here? All right, so this is where the 4th bedroom suite would be. So this, you have the option here, all right, for this to be a bedroom with an ensuite bathroom type thing. All right, so and the 3 that are available in the community all have that. So I'm going to assume that only the model is going to have this because there's only 6 houses left in this community, so they've already been built basically. So only the model set up like this. The other houses available, this would be a bedroom with the suite. So let's kind of show you the floor plan here. Right, as we walk in, we're here now. I'm going to have a walk-in closet right here, a bathroom kind of against that wall there, and then the rest of this is your 4th bedroom. Anyways, let's go back. Continue down the way. We'll go up the stairs later. Oh, it's kind of a cool wall with that texture, and then we got the so you got the wood texture, and you got like the tree art there. Pictures up close. All right, we got our nice movie theater storage underneath the stairs here. And wraps underneath. I'll show you guys that. All right, one other thing I just want to point out while we're doing this, so just notice the finishes here. So you got the black handle, the black railing, the black doorknob up there. I'll tie everything together. All right, we'll turn to the right. And we've got a little powder room downstairs. Get your mirror, normal stuff. Sink, toilet. Walk further back this way, and boom. We've got our great room area. So this is a really big living room that kind of extends out further this way. All right, kind of like the racks on the wall too, that's kind of cool. Just a really big feel to this living room, but I'll give you the full pan for the full effect here. Big window looking out to the backyard. Everything there, really nice big space. And then we got like another like workstation here. I'll get to that in a second. All right, but we got our dining area here, pre-wired with the spot for the chandelier lights to hang down. We've got our kitchen back here. Pretty good sized island there. Fit 3, squeeze 4. Got those pendant lights hanging down. All right, back here we're gonna have a nice walk-in pantry. So lots of space in there for all your goodies. And here we've got the modern microwave. I know some people get confused and think it's a double oven. It's not. All right, so we have the microwave and oven there. All right, this one's kind of got the chef's kitchen, so it's an upgraded kitchen. All right, and then you can see that they did the upgraded thing with the extended backsplash. It's really nice. And kind of just this is too busy for me with those lights there and these here when you're trying to look all the way down, but just once again, just a really good spot for entertaining. You can see just how massive this downstairs space is when you kind of look at it from here. All right, but your sink over here looking out to the backyard, lots of cabinets. Then they obviously got the upgrade Added options there with the extended cabinets going up top. All right, let's go this way though. All right, so we've got a nice little entryway coming off of that garage. All right, so this is the office, the sales office now, but it would be the garage entrance. So a nice little entryway here. There's ideas for you guys to think about. And then they got this little workstation. I call it a workstation. I don't know what they call it, tech center. I don't know exactly what their terminology is, but once again, good for homeschooling, homework room. If you work from home, maybe you want this to be your office type of thing. Lots of different things you do here. Your Etsy room, as I like to call it, for the stay-at-home moms who do their Etsy shops online and that sort of thing. So I like this. Some people aren't big fans. If you're not a fan of it, maybe you can knock the wall down. I don't know if it's structural, if it's supporting walls or not, but hey, maybe just knock it down and make a bigger space. So you got to do that after the fact. You can't do it before. All right, let's go in and see the backyard. Once again, blank canvas. They got a really big lot here, right, with that slope. So when it comes sloped like that, when there's a certain amount of feet that are sloped, all right, they will take care of that. But other than that, the rest of the backyard is gonna be all dirt. Anyways, let's go ahead and head upstairs. All right, while I do that, just wanna remind you guys that this is a show I post every single Saturday at 8 a.m. All right, even on holiday weeks, I make it happen. All right, I think I'm on like 50 something weeks in a row of being consistent and showing up for you guys. So if you like the sort of stuff where I'm touring new communities, new houses, even revisiting some of these to show you guys the updated pricing and kind of new things that I've learned in my year plus of doing this stuff for you guys and working with you guys. All right, if you like the stuff, do the stuff, like, subscribe, tap that notification bell. That way you stay up to date on everything going on in this local area. Anyways, we've reached the top of the stairs. Kind of a smaller loft, but hey, at least you got a loft. All right, it's kind of cozy, tucked in the corner back here. One thing I do want to point out though is kind of just, normally it's like a pony wall. Here's the solid wall. All right, they got the nice banister right here, those posts. So it's a nice little upgraded touch there. All right, we got our loft. We'll go further on back this way. All right, what the heck is this? It feels like a laundry room, but it's got carpet and no hookups. I'm just gonna call this a giant storage room. Excessive storage room. There we go. All right, go back here. Oh, but wait, this is the laundry room. So that was absolutely an excessive storage room. All right, but you got your washer dryer there. Just a really good sized laundry room. You got your little cabinet here. Yeah, that's a lot of space for dirty clothes. All right, then we got our linen closet right there. Lots of directions I can get. I'm gonna walk just straight in here. All right, so we got our next bathroom. So you got the his and hers sinks there, dual sinks, medicine cabinet, mirror. Then I guess I'll show you guys the cabinets and drawers and stuff. And then there will be that door here for that privacy. All right, so someone can be doing their stuff here. Someone else can be getting ready out here. Walk across the way. My daughter would love this room. Holy cow. All right, my kids are actually getting off school for Christmas break here in a couple hours. Next week's video, they're probably gonna be in it, so be prepared if you're a regular. All right, if you're one of the 2,000 people that shows up every week. All right, next week, get ready for my kiddos. They're excited to be back in the videos for their winter break. So the next couple of videos, they'll be in them. Anyway, so really good sized room here. All right, this bed is a really good size. You can definitely sleep 2 people on that bed. All right, you got the nightstands. The nightstands are a little bit smaller, but there's still room on both sides. Okay, digging it, I like it. All right, our next bedroom over here. All right, well, it feels like just like the mirrored version of that, except it has a better closet. All right, so we got a little step-in closet right here. Lots of space in there. All right, and then we got a pretty good amount of space in here too. I actually think it looks smaller. I'm looking through my camera screen right now. It looks smaller on camera. Like, yes, it's short, but I'm saying like how big the bed is, it looks bigger with my real eyeballs instead of through the camera. So just, just to let you guys know. All right, then you look up to the backyard there. And then we'll go further down the hall. And now we got the master bedroom. These guys do a great job with these. Guys, this feels huge. And then they tied in that wood from downstairs too. I love when they do that. You got the chandelier up there. Some cool little artwork on this side. Get the window off the side. Big window looking out to the backyard. All right, I'll give you guys a taste of how this looks from kind of the corner. All right, we'll go over there in a second to the bathroom, but then over here we got our closet, which is a little different, right? But it's big. All right. really big closet. I'll go ahead and do my arm stretch test for you. All right, so you guys are on the one rack and I'm like maybe about halfway, maybe a little bit more than halfway, but definitely some good space in here. Even put some drawers or dressers there, but that's not enough hanging space. But let's go ahead and see the master bathroom. Lots of counter space in here. So you got the his and her sinks, a humongous mirror. You got still got your medicine cabinet over here, drawers, cabinets galore. All right, and then also just note, I talked about the finishes earlier, that darker color. They got those all up here. So attention to detail. All right, we got our soaking tub. We got the black trim there on the shower. All right, then right here, we're gonna have like a linen closet. Then we got like our water closet, toilet area right here. Once again, doors are coming, don't you worry. The only spot there won't be a door is right there, like the entryway here. You put a barn door on the outside if you wanted to. All right, and then we got our walk-in closet here with those built-in shelves. So pretty good space. All right, I am gonna spin test this one. All right, I can like literally guys, I'm fully extended, spinning without a care, and I'm not hitting anything. Anyways, I just wanna show you guys this view. Man, I don't know if the camera does it justice. You can see the mountains in the distance. I really like this area, if you can't tell. That's why I come back and film it all the time. All right, so anyways, again, this was the Ferndale, 3,125 square feet. You got, they say 3 to 4 bedrooms, but right now, unless you buy this model home, you're gonna get 4 bedrooms, including that suite downstairs. You got same thing, 2.5 to 3.5 bathrooms. Right now, unless you buy the model, all right, you're gonna have the 3.5 baths because you got that suite downstairs. You got this really cool loft area, alrighty. And this one right here, it's at $645, they say, but there's only 3 left in the community and they're all at $720,000. Last but not least, we've got the Pinewood. This one right here is a doozy, 3,303 square feet, 4 to 5 bedrooms, 2.5 to 3.5 bathrooms. We've got a 3-car tandem garage. All right, we've got an option for a suite. All right, this one starts at $660,000. They've got 2 left in the community right now, in addition to the model. All right, we got one at $725, another at $768. But if you work with the right guy, we can make some things happen. Anyways, all right, so we've got a nice exterior on this one. All right, just real pretty. Let's go on and see this. Walk on in. Nice, this feels really nice. So I'm gonna point out a couple things before we even turn to this room or whatever this is over here. All right, you'll notice the upgraded staircase without the pony wall. I just want you guys to just kind of see how, I guess, grand it feels versus if you just had like the closed drywall there. It'll make it feel a lot different. All right, so that's just something I want to point out to you guys. Anyways, off to the right, we've got bedroom number 1. All right, this furniture is kind of bulky-ish. Like, I know it's a decent-sized room, but there's not a whole lot of space in here with the way they got it set up. So it's basically just sleeping, and that is it. Oh, but it's a suite. Hold on. That changes things a bit. All right, so this is the suite. This is actually how it would come, the ones that are out in the community, the 2 that are available. All right, so you got your little sliding closet doors there, and then you do have your own bathroom. So we'll call this bathroom number 1. Once you pay attention to the gold finishes on this one. All right, so mirror, medicine cabinet, and then they've got the walk-in shower there with that little bench. And then they upgraded the flooring in here. All right, that makes me feel differently about this room. There's a little sneak attack. All right, the room's still small, don't get me wrong. It didn't change the size of the room, but it's more, I don't know, I'm more accepting of it. All right, it's a nice little use of space here where there's nothing, a little entryway table. And I like how they kind of adorn the wall right there with that. You got some cool stuff going on. I'm a big fan of the color of the floor too, as we go throughout. All right, then right here we got, oh, this is a unique movie theater closet. Yep. So we got lots of storage there. And that. And then real quick, all right, because I know there's new people every week that are watching me for the first time. Like, why does this guy call this a movie theater? All right, well, my brother-in-law used to have a house in Huntington Beach, had this like storage thing under the stairs. My kids were younger. Whenever we went there for like adult time, hanging out, our younger days, we used to drink some sodas and play games and that sort of stuff. We'd send the kids in there with their iPad and we called it the movie theater. So that's why I call it the movie theater. So if you are brand new and you don't know what that is, now you're in for the rest of my videos if you keep watching. Anywho, all right, let's turn this baby around. All right, we got a couple options here. Let me turn to the left though. All right, so this is gonna be our garage access here. All right, so I like that they got this little like mudroom type area to get your shoes, socks, all that kind of stuff. If you're someone who doesn't wear shoes in the house. All right, we got our coat closet right here. And then we've got our powder room downstairs. All right, so this is actually a really good spot for this. All right, because if you're like me and you got kids that can't, go to the bathroom, or they always have to go, when you get done driving, whoop, go in straight to the bathroom. All right, then across the way here, we're gonna have our formal dining area. That's kind of like well, I guess we'll call it the formal dining area because it's right off there, but this is kind of just like a flex space. All right, but I'm gonna call it the formal dining area. And spin it around. We got like our another one of those workstations for homework, homeschooling, or our Etsy shops, home business type stuff, work from home office, however you want to use this space. All right, I am a huge fan of it. Like I said, some people aren't, I get it. Oh man, this is an impressive kitchen. All right, I like, me likey. All right, so we got an island there. You could fit 3 comfortably. You might be able to squeeze 4, question mark. All right, you got those pendant lights hanging down. Huge fan of the upgraded countertops here. All right, now this one does have dual ovens. I got the double oven there. You got your schmancy modern microwave here. So this is that chef's kitchen right here. And then you got the gold finishes. I like that. It kind of just goes really nicely to the countertop they got. And then you got the extended backsplash here. Yeah, this is a really nice one. Then you got the big farm sink on this side, looking out to the backyard. It's really, this house feels elegant. Then you got your view there to the living room, the dining area. Like this, if you use that area over there as dining, like you don't need to use this as dining. You could actually make this area a little bit bigger. All right, at my house, we have something very similar to this setup, right? We got the island, we have a formal dining area, and we don't use this. This is empty space for us. We actually put like a kid's table over here, so they can do arts and crafts or eat their dinners and stuff. And then we got our living room. So you can make your living room a little bit bigger, potentially, if you don't use this as dining. So that's just food for thought. All right, but we got our living room back here. And then on this one, they went in and added a fireplace. I'm gonna guess the ones out in the community do not have the fireplace because, like I said, there's only 6 houses left in this community at all. So the only one with the fireplace is probably this model when it becomes available. All right, one thing I forgot to show you guys in the kitchen. I forgot to show you this little like butler kitchen-ish area. All right, so got a little station here, kind of right next to that formal dining area. And then right here, we've got our pantry. All right, pretty good sized pantry. But I do want to show you guys outside. All right, so this one has the covered patio, all right, which is a must, I feel, out this way. It does get hot in the summer. All right, people always ask about the winter too, but a lot of you guys this time of year are asking about winter. All right, whoops, let me turn around and talk to you guys actually. All right, the winter is, yes, we're in the desert, but it doesn't get too cold. So today, yes, I'm wearing long sleeves, it's December 20th, okay? But it's not too bad. I will say there are some times just in the morning when I take my kids to school, like just the way my house is and I park my car in the driveway face in, like there are days my windshield is like frosty and I have to pour water on it to get out. That has not happened once this year. So, think whatever you want about that. All right, but that hasn't happened at all, but it does get cold occasionally. And, in the summers, it does get north of 100, 10 times, 15 times ish. But so I'm a big fan. I think those are a really good idea, those covered patios. Now, at this point in this community, they probably aren't going to be able to do that for you, but you can do it aftermarket basically and get it done after the fact. But once again, blank canvas back there, do what you want with it. Just showing you guys for inspiration. All right, anyways, let's go on and head upstairs. While I do that, just want to remind you guys, if you like anything you see in this video, if you like any of these 4 houses I've shown you, whatever, okay? If you like something, let me know, reach out. My phone number's on the screen, whether you're coming out today, tomorrow, next week, next month, whenever. All right, it is the holiday season, so I'm not working on Christmas or New Year's, all right? But I think the builders are closed anyway. So you like something you see, reach out. I'd be happy to help you guys. Anyways, I meant to talk about this wall I was walking up, but I was doing my thing. All right, so we got this little texture wall here, this shiplap there. I like that a lot. All right, I mean, it's probably gonna be hard to do all the way up there from there, right? But it just adds a nice touch there. But at the top of the stairs, we got a nice loft, really good size here. We'll have the master back there that I'll save for last. But yeah, just a really nice secondary living area upstairs. I mean, if I had my way, this would be a nice little man cave. Just saying. Nice little spot there. But let's walk down the hallway. Boom. All right, we got our laundry room. Got the utility sink here. Still got the gold finishes throughout the house. Still got that upgraded flooring up here, and another countertop, shelves, cabinets, drawers, all that good stuff. And then a linen closet. This is one of the more impressive laundry rooms I've seen at a new build. All right, then this right here, we got the brains of the house. You guys put Wi-Fi, all kinds of different stuff in there instead of having wires and in weird spots. Now let's go back here. All right, we got bedroom number 2. Really wide. All right, so this is a really good sized secondary bedroom. I'll show you the whole deal. And then this one's got a walk-in closet with it. So pretty cool there. We got bedroom number 3. I do like that wallpaper. I could see my daughter living in this one too. All right, so nice little accent there, wall with that wallpaper. Let's get it spun around and show you guys the view from there. So you got a nice closet over there, I'll show you in a second, but really nice view, or not view, feel to this one, but a nice view of the TV when you put it up there. All right, and then we've got a little pop-in closet right here. I'm not gonna call it a full walk-in, it's like a step-in closet. Right, but better than your normal closet, for sure. And let's mosey on down the hall here. All right, we got bathroom. I forget what number it is, the editors will throw it on the screen though. Like those gold finishes, man, this house ties in really nicely. I'm feeling it. Right, big mirror. Still got the privacy door here. Oh, even on the bathtub, guys. Finishes. Even the towel rack. Details matter. When I was a baseball coach, I guess I still am a baseball coach, but when I coached at a higher level, I always used to say the details matter. All right, same thing applies in real estate. All right, then we got our next bedroom here. This one feels a little scrunched. All right, not gonna lie to you on that. It might just be because this is kind of a bigger piece of furniture, and that bed is, like if you look, the bed's out from the wall a little bit. There's got like an angle there. Anyways, good vibes only, positive energy. All right, so get you guys there. And then this one's more of like a walk-in closet type thing for this. So a really good sized closet there. And then we got a linen closet, or storage area there. And then we're gonna walk back to the master. All right, so you got all these rooms on this side over here, and then the master is like more secluded and private. So you got your own oasis back here, your retreat. This thing's, it just feels peaceful and nice and quiet and big. A little cutout here in the wall. I do like the texture there, the paneling they put on the wall. Nice touch. Got those windows letting the light in. Yeah, nice feel to this one. Nice and big. Go over here, we're gonna have our master bathroom. All right, so you've got your walk-in shower, your soaking tub. Still got the upgraded flooring here. Really good size, or counter space there. Lots of counter space. Drawers, cabinets, big old mirror, medicine cabinet. All right, we got our water closet throne area right here. Even the toilet paper roll is gold. The details. All right, and then we've got a huge, all right, that's probably the last time I say this. Actually, I'll say it one more time. Huge walk-in closet. All right, so got the built-in shelving there, but this is massive. I would bring my daughter in here to do cartwheels. All right, if she was in this one. She'll be in next week's video, most likely, so. Yeah, I could just spin like I won the Daytona 500 forever and ever, do donuts in here, but I'm not going to. Anyways, all right, sorry for the dad jokes. All right, so this one was the Pinewood. It's 3,303 square feet, 4 to 5 bedrooms, 2.5 to 3.5 bathrooms, 3-car tandem garage. All right, they say this one starts at $660,000. All right, out in the community right now, they got some available for $725 and $768. Once again, though, if you work with the right person, those aren't the real prices. All right, guys, so that was my retour of Cimarron Ridge. We toured Greenway and Pathway. Well, I lost my muse. For the second time, giving you guys updated pricing. Both of these communities are kind of on their way out. There's only a handful of homes left. All right, so I wanted to give you the updated pricing. So we toured their 4 models. We hopped on a map. I showed you guys what it was like to actually live here, whenever school, shopping, medical care, commute times, airports, Disneyland, beaches, fun things to do, malls, all that sort of stuff. All right, and then just a couple quick things I wanted to remind you guys of, just the normal housekeeping type stuff. All right, HOA in this community is $91 a month at build out. All right, we got a 2% tax rate, which is basically, you know, the normal new build tax rate, includes special assessments, Mello-Roos, property taxes, all that sort of stuff. All right, so 2%, that's the normal rate in this area. I talked a little bit about the park that's coming here soon. So if you have kids or you would like to do walking, that sort of stuff, all right, there's gonna be a big park close by with baseball fields, basketball courts, I believe has soccer fields as well. So that's coming down the road. Right now, the builder is doing a $16,000 incentive. Those change from time to time. And like I've been saying all video, if you work with the right person, there's flex there. All right, I'm someone who's not afraid to ask. All right, I'll take big swings for you, and you know, hey, I'm not afraid to be told no. So I will do all the all the legwork for you and get all the embarrassing no's and asks out of the way. If you have a big ask, I'll take it for you. So, anyways, like I said, there's only a handful of homes left in these communities. Cimarron Ridge is one of the top, you know, new build communities in Menifee. It's one of my favorite in this whole Inland Empire area. All right, if I was in the market, this is probably one of the top 2 or 3 areas I would consider buying in personally. All right, so there's no BS or fluff when I'm telling you that this is a great spot. All right, like this house I'm sitting in right now, what am I in? I'm in the Pinewood. All right, I love this floor plan. I can see myself here. That's why I'm filming this outro here, because I'm like, oh man, like this is a nice kitchen, this is a nice house. I can see myself here. Let's do the outro here. All right, so that's pretty much it. So I just want to remind you guys that this is a show I post every single Saturday at 8 a.m., including weeks there's holidays. All right, so if you like the sort of stuff, we're maturing new houses, new communities, showing you guys what it's like to live somewhere, or even coming back and showing you guys updated pricing, updated incentives, doing all that kind of stuff. If you like the stuff, do the stuff, like, subscribe, tap that notification bell. That way stay up to date on everything going on in this local area. All right, the other thing, all right, if you liked anything you saw today, go ahead and reach out. My phone number is gonna be on the screen right now, whether you come out today, tomorrow, next week, next month, whenever. I would love to be your local guide to the area. All right, I'm able to just talk to you guys and figure out the right spot for you. All right, yesterday I was out with someone who had already done a bunch of touring over the past few months on his own, basically. I took him to a spot he was looking in Lake Elsinore. I took him to a spot specifically, like he was looking specifically for Lake Elsinore or Riverside. Told him, we had a conversation, told me exactly what he needed, and immediately I was like, oh, this is the spot for you. So I called my contact, my builder agent. I said, hey, I've got, you know, a guy looking for X, Y, and Z. These are like the 2 main things he needs. All right, I know you have this. Do you have any available for quick moving? Because there's a quick move-in. All right, you know, pool size lot, you know, loft, like there's different things they're looking for. And he said, oh yeah, we got a few of those, boom. All right, so we're able to get him into escrow on that, on a property he wanted. He's been looking for, you know, by himself for a while, but I was able to, you know, pull in some communities or some ideas that maybe he didn't know about. So because I've done the legwork and I've gone to dozens of these communities, guys, I have a wealth of knowledge, and I'll be able to tell you, you know, when talking to you, which communities and which floor plans are the right fit for you. And then on top of that, because I have these relationships, because I've been doing business with these builders and have multiple escrows and deals and all that kind of stuff, all right, I can kind of just cut straight to the chase and get you guys good incentives and the best deal now. So that was a lot of talking and rambling. Bottom line is, if you like something, go ahead and reach out. I would love to help you. Anyways, YouTube's gonna put a video over this shoulder. If you like this video, you're probably gonna like that video, and I'll see you in there.